Good morning, my loves. You guys, I cannot believe Christmas is in a couple of days. Like, are you guys feeling ready? Have you done all of your Christmas shopping? I need to check the mail in a little bit because there is one present that I know is waiting in there. It's like one for my sister, got shipped super late. And then I also need to go pick up a couple of Amazon packages from the Amazon lockers for where I live. For some reason, they deliver my Amazon packages to like these lockers. I've tried to get out of it. There's no possible way. It's like super frustrating. But anyways, there's another present too. So I have a couple more presents to wrap, but I'm feeling like ready to go. I feel like the past couple of days, I've been really trying to focus on living in the present moment, enjoying my time off. And I really hope that you guys are finding the time to do the same. Spend time with family, with your loved ones. Like, that's one of the most special parts of this time of the year. So speaking about the end of the year is near. And I want to get a head start on 2024 while I have this time off. So if you're new and this is the first video of mine that you're watching, my name is Carissa and I work at Amazon full time. Hi baby. Don't put that whole thing in your mouth. She's chewing on a bone right next to me. Gray is our new puppy. She's a mini Australian Shepherd. Oliver is sleeping upstairs in my office. He thinks that I'm up there, but I'm not. So hopefully he'll be down here soon to visit. But yeah, I work at Amazon full time. I'm a senior program manager and I'm taking time off, some PTO until the new year. I keep trying to move because I don't want your wet bone on me. But this is the perfect time for me to sit down and reflect on the past year, 2023, what went well, the things that didn't, and also the things that I'd like to accomplish in the next year. So that's exactly what we're gonna be doing today in today's video. We are gonna be prepping for the new year, starting to wrap up things this year, and yeah, just get a head start on next year. You'll probably hear Juan in the background. He's in this room right behind me. He's working. And if I am being honest, planning and setting goals is a pretty daunting thing for me. I've honestly have never been a fan of it, but with how much I've struggled with my mental health in Q4 of this year, I thought that if things were more pointed and I had a sense of direction, then I would have less anxiety. So we're gonna get some of this planning out of the way right now to set me up for 2024. So that way it's not something that needs to be on my mind mid-January when I'm back at work and things are like starting to get super crazy and hectic because it's the new year. Like, I'll already know what I want to work on and I can start working towards it right now, and then it can be off my mind and I can also just really enjoy the present moment. Of course, for me personally, this time works perfect for me, as I mentioned, but the most important thing is that you just do this. I think that you guys will find so much value in it. So just carve out like 30 minutes to 2 hours that works best for you. It can be small, especially if this is your first year doing it. You don't need to do something super elaborate or anything like that, but I think just like having a sense of direction is so important. So you can do this digitally, you can do this in a notebook. I mentioned it a couple of vlogs ago that I started using Notion at the beginning of November, and this sounds like the perfect spot for this to live. So over this past week, I took the time to create some templates for goal setting, habit tracking, like all of that sort of stuff. I took inspiration from TikTok and Pinterest and all of these sources to kind of create something that's gonna work best for me. At least I hope so. So while I would like to just dive right into 2024, I think it's important to do a couple of things first. The first step is I need to reflect back on 2023 and remind myself what's important to me. So focusing on that latter part that I just said, we change so much in a year, and so it's really important to check in with who you are and what a good life looks like to you. I think that this is going to be like a brilliant exercise for me. I have a set of questions that I'm going to answer. So like, for instance, what time of the day do I feel the most productive? What morning routine makes me feel calmest and most equipped for the day ahead? What gets in the way of my productivity? What are my top 5 motivations? Which of my working habits makes me feel the most anxious? What do I wish I had more time to do? And what type techniques are currently working for me that I should do more of. We are constantly improving and realigning, so our goals are going to change depending on like what this looks like for us, like what's important to us. So I'm going to spend some time doing that first when I get into this, but once that is all squared away, I am then going to reflect back on 2023 and answer a separate set of questions. And these are the questions that I found that is going to be the most helpful for me. So I have things split into reflecting on this year, but then also kind of thinking forward for next year as well. That'll help me for when we finally get to the step of goal setting. But for this year, I'm going to describe this year in 3 words. What was my proudest accomplishments? What were my biggest challenges? My favorite series for the past year, because I'm a big TV and movie girl. Kind of fun to keep track of that. Same with like the best book that I've read this year. What was my best memory is a fun one, but an important one I think is like, what did I learn this year? Skills, qualities, any superpowers and things like that. I think that's a good reflection. And then for next year, what I want to take some time to think about is, what do I want to change to be happier, to be more confident, to be less anxious? Since like I mentioned, Q4, my anxiety was at an all-time high and it still is. And so I want to find ways to improve that and reduce it. What do I want to do more of? What do I want to prioritize? What would I like to become better at? And are there any bad habits that I want to break or replace with healthier ones? So I think that that's a good guide. And once I do that, I should be able to have a couple of ideas of what I should focus on for the next year, improve where I struggle, continue to do what I think worked well for me. But I mean, it's also a great opportunity to give yourself a pat on the back for everything that you accomplished. Don't get lost or caught up in the negatives and only trying to improve things that didn't go well. There are so many things, big and small, that we accomplish in a year that you might not realize. And that's why I think that this exercise is really important to do, because I'll be like, oh my God, I forgot I did that or this. And when you see it all accumulated and in one spot, you're just like, wow, this year was actually amazing. I can't believe I did all these things. I can't believe I've grown this much, you know? So step 2 and 3 are very intertwined for me. It's creating a vision board and setting goals. I do this in parallel because I'm definitely like a visual person, but when you set goals, it's so important to think long term. These goals for the next year need to get you closer to the life that you want to live, but you also need to be able to see the end goal and what inspires you to get there and what that looks like. So like I said, those that are visual learners or doers, I think that the vision board is going to be the best for you. It's a great motivator, and while motivation isn't going to take you everywhere, discipline is. It's great, so great to do something like this and to challenge yourself to do something like this. As for goals, goals of course need to be trackable and they need to be achievable. That is not new when it comes to goal setting. You cannot achieve success unless you define success. So I'm gonna go through a few different categories to create goals from a high level. No, don't put that on me. From a high level perspective, while writing them in a way that's going to be achievable and trackable. And what those categories are is personal development, relationships, finances, career, business, attitude, mindset, and then my health. And then once the high level is done, we move on to the next step, step 4. And this is where we pull it in to the daily, the weekly, the monthly. Big goals are reached by the small things that you do every single day. And what forms if you do them every single day? Habits. So I'm going to translate my goals into daily habits. An example of that, let's take reading for instance. So this year I want to set a goal for reading 2 books a month or 24 books in a year. And how I'm going to track that is by my daily habits. So in order to make progress on the goal, let's say I want to read 10 pages a day or like 2 chapters a day. So I'll have a separate page in Notion where I want to track my habits. My habits don't necessarily need to be things that I want to do every single day. Like for instance, I want to create a habit of like exercising or moving my body to really challenge myself for next year, but that doesn't necessarily mean I want to do that 7 days a week. I can set like a goal for wanting to do it 5 days a week, for instance, but I'm still going to capture it in my habit tracker so I can see everything that I want to do on a daily or a weekly basis to help me get closer to my goals. But then also within my goals page, each goal I am going to set like some supporting actions that can help me get to that goal that I will track on like a quarterly basis. So I'll have like check-in points with myself as well. So essentially you need to examine what success looks like in that goal and then break it down into tasks that can be accomplished daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, so that you're making progress on that goal. The important thing to remember here is that this is not a yearly wishing session. This is a yearly goal session. It would be amazing if you set these goals and then fast forward a year from now and like they all magically came to fruition, but that's not the case. You're gonna have to put in the work in order to get there. And trust me, if you just do this all at once, you're gonna be setting yourself up for success. Give yourself reminders. I always like to do like quarterly check-ins because then it's not too much work and effort, right? And you still have time every single quarter to reflect on how that quarter went and then make corrective actions to tackle it better in the next quarter. All of like that readjustment and realigning. So anyways, now that that is all out of the way, I'm going to sit down and start from step 1 and start kind of reflecting and thinking back to what's important. Juan, are you out of your meeting?
Oh, my baby.
She keeps trying to put her bone on top of me. This is gross.
No.
Babe, it's a slobbery mess.
Don't call it like that.
You're the cutest. Cutest. Also, I know I had a few of you mention in my vlog where I was talking about how to be productive and like giving tips and stuff. When I showed my Notion, you guys wanted me to share like the templates and stuff. You guys, I have no idea how to do that. I need it to look into it, especially if you're like interested in how I kind of like mapped out like my goals too. I'm adding it as an action item for something to look into. So if that is something that you're into, let me know, you know, because if there is like a big demand for it, then I can like move it up in my priority list to try to like figure out. I'm still feeling pretty comfortable sitting right here. I might move to the dining room table in a second, but I'm kind of enjoying having Gray right next to me. So like I said, I'm gonna start with step 1. For me, I think that this is the hardest step because it's so hard for me to remember everything, but then also like figure out exactly like what I want. That's why goal setting, reflecting has been so like daunting for me, but I am determined. I'm determined to make 2024 my best year yet. is looking pretty good. It smells amazing. I usually add like rosemary, but I didn't have it in my refrigerator, so I just did it without it. You can see the water line, so I'll have to put more water in it in a second. Just to make sure it's not gonna get too low. I'm gonna have a salad kit for lunch today. Sounds really good. I'm gonna have the everything chopped kit. I've shared this before. This is so good, but this is a lot. So I always split it into 2 portions for essentially 2 days. So I'm gonna have a Tupperware right here for, say, tomorrow, and then my salad bowl here for today. I'm making some really good progress on step 1, 2, and 3. Part 3 is being paralyzed, right? So haven't yet done vision board stuff. But I have been working on goal setting. Took Gray for a little walk. It's been quite a nice day. I'm impressed. Okay, is that enough? Is this equal? I think so. I don't want the goal stuff to take up too much more of my day. Although vision boarding is like really fun, so I don't know if I'm really gonna count that. But I still wanna make sure that I'm taking time to just like be in the present moment, like maybe watch some TV shows, play with Gray, like not so much focus on like all like the busy work, really trying to minimize the things on my plate during my PTO. There we have it. It's like a separate little kit, so I kept the dressing obviously in the packet, put it right next to the salad. Okay, I have a few things that I need to post on like TikTok and then YouTube Shorts. Those are 2 goals I had for today. So I'm gonna eat this at the dining room table and then get that stuff organized to post. All right, looks like I need to actually edit the video really quickly. Away from downstairs to have some alone time. I really want to watch an episode, and Juan is occupying the TV downstairs playing video games. So yeah, I've snuck away up here. So there's this show, it's on I think Prime, that I've been loving watching. It's Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis. I love Jeff Lewis. I'm so happy he's back on TV. He's awesome. So anyways, I have been like binge watching this. I didn't even realize that there was 2 seasons of it. And season 2 is like new and currently on right now. And it looks like I'm a couple episodes behind, which is amazing news because that means I can binge watch. I don't know if I'm gonna do it right now, but at least I want to watch 1 episode right now. So I'm gonna watch season 2, episode 2. And I also un momento. I have some cookies as well. I heat them up in the microwave for like 25 seconds. So, you know, this is gonna be quite the enjoyable little time right now. It's a little after 7 o'clock right now. Just went downstairs to see where Juan was, but it looks like he's out walking Gray. I had a therapy session for the last hour and it was really good. I got some homework, some things to work on for the next 2 weeks since we're gonna take a break next week due to like all the holidays and everything like that, and we'll pick up in the new year. It's going really well and I think it's exactly what I need, so I'm excited to just stick with it and put in the work as well to get where I feel like I need to be. I'm really happy and proud of myself for making this step and doing something that I feel like will really greatly improve just like my well-being and my health and like my mental state and everything like that. I gotta get it to a place though where like it doesn't give me anxiety, because I feel like I went into it thinking that I'm really anxious about it and just like the therapy appointment, and now I kind of like have a headache as well. Anyways, need to start thinking about dinner soon, and I want to play with Gray as well. Oliver and I have been hanging out upstairs. He kept me company during my therapy session, didn't you? My companion, you know, my just like person that I can count on. Hi, my love bug. Some of you guys were asking how he's doing. He's doing amazing. He's doing so good, aren't ya? My little baby. My baby. I think he still looks at Gray being like, what is this? But I feel like it's getting better. Of course, like Oliver holds his own when it comes to her. Don't you? You also don't overdo it, which I appreciate. And he's also just getting so comfortable like moving around the house, and he knows like where his safe space is and all of like that sort of stuff. So I think it's been going really well for Mr. Oliver here. Right, Bubba? Hi, Bubba. Also, by the way, I feel like this was a really great combination, having my therapy appointment the same day that I was like figuring out like my goals and reflecting on last year, because I feel like it really helped to dive in on like what I want to focus on, because again, this is only the second session. We're still very much at the beginning and like defining things a little bit, and it was helpful for me to be able to like prioritize in my mind like what I would like to work on the most. So if I didn't do this whole session today and earlier, then it wouldn't have put me in the spot that I wanted to be for tonight. So kind of amazing how that worked out. I didn't even think about that. I'm gonna take advantage of Juan being gone and watch another show, relax, be more mindful right now, and spend some good quality time with Oliver.